Alright everyone, today we are going to be going over how to improve your snack experience at the game table. Now, first of all, I know that snacks at the game table are not among the most important of priorities, but, there's something worth considering and I figured I'd do a video on it. So, the first thing I'm going to go into is, this isn't a health nut video. I'm not going to recommend healthy choices because they're healthy. It's just inevitably the options I'm going to present are by default healthier than the common ones chosen for a game situation. Most people who game have defaults such as pizza. Take after, I believe it was Dr. Demento, Cheetos and Mountain Dew. They have snacks of the like, and that's fine if you want to do that. But despite popular belief, there are actually cheaper and even tastier alternatives that exist simultaneously within other options. So I'd like to go over those right now in hopes of giving people a better gaming experience. For one, if you can get your hands on a crock-pot, you would be amazed at how cheaper things get and how tastier things get. Not to mention, even if you're not the best cook, crock-pots are the easiest thing in the world to operate. I'll give you two examples of dishes I make rather regularly that my group never complains about. One is barbecue pulled pork. It's simple. I get a several pound piece of pork. I get some barbecue sauce. I get a couple of things of McCormick seasoning, and I throw them all in there, mix them all up, and the thing comes out rather tasty after about 8 hours. It just falls right off the bone, put it on some hamburger buns, and you have a meal. Second thing I like to do is barbecue drumsticks, which also you throw it in the crock pot, but I only throw them in the crock pot enough until they cook. That way they're nice and juicy, the juices have got it in, it's all, good. And then I'll throw them on a oven tray, throw them in the oven for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then drizzle the barbecue sauce from the crock pot on them as this is happening. And it comes out rather tasty, if I might say so. But those are just examples on things that feed my entire group, and I do buy a sufficient amount of pork and chicken for these operations, but for the cost that it would take me alone to pay for an equivalent amount of pizza, I would be paying anywhere from 1.5 to 2 times the amount, depending on what the pizza consists of. So it's a cheaper alternative, and it's often a tastier one, and the group so far hasn't complained, even if I throw something else into the crock pot. The second option you have is the traditional potluck. The traditional potluck gives everybody an assigned item to bring, and this works out really well because even if you have budget concerns, which there are gamers that have that, it happens in every social situation. You have the person that can't contribute as much as the next person. So a potluck allows them to bring something on their budget, which gives them the ability to contribute and at the same time allows for everybody to have a sufficient amount of food. So there's that. The third option you have is a dip. Now, dip is a very wide and varied subject to where you can have several different kinds of dip every week for several weeks, and you're never running out of ideas. One I just made the other night at a session was I got a couple cans of beanless chili, really cheap chili. I got a couple of cans of queso dip, threw it in a pot, mixed it together, fed the entire group for that night. Of course, I got chips for them to scoop with it. But chips and a hearty dip make for a good meal with the gaming group, because in most cases, a gaming group isn't too picky about the food. The crock pot meals tend to be rather extravagant considering its game, but they're cheap, and if you want something exciting, they're good. You want something like easy to throw together and really cheap? Dip. Dip's probably the cheapest option I'm going to recommend here tonight. So you've got those three. You've got the crock pot, you've got the potluck, and you've got dip. So if you really insist at this point on getting your delivery and takeout stuff like pizza, do yourself a favor and at least spice it up a bit by varying it from week to week. Because if you get pizza every week, the routine of it will, at very least, take from the experience. So because I've noticed that if we do Taco Bell one week, Pizza Hut the next week, Burger King value menu items the week after. If we do that routinely, then it ends up having a bit of a variety there that we appreciate. Now, as a group, you may genuinely be content eating pizza every game session for the rest of your life, and I'm not going to fault you for it. I mean, who doesn't like pizza? But at the end of the day, these are some options you can do that will improve your gaming experience in the way of snackage. Now, I've covered food right now, so let me get into drinks a little bit. And one thing that is very common for gamers is that you game well into the night. So if you aren't into energy drinks, or for some reason you just forgot to get them, investing in a Keurig or some other form of coffee maker would be fantastic. The reason why I recommend a Keurig is because it's easily compatible with also hot cocoa, in case that's what you're used to. Like, it's just winter, you want something that's not coffee, then you have both coffee and hot cocoa at your disposal. But if you want to get a similar device that serves the same purpose, that's awesome. If you really are into it, make some apple cider. So if you have a means of alternative hot drink, that provides kind of a spirit lifter in the colder seasons, as well as a caffeine option should you need to get that pick me up at 11:30, 12:30 a.m. with that boss battle. So that's an alternative to sodas that, would be a caffeinated option. If you need, a sugary sweet option, powdered drinks. Now, that may seem a bit, tacky and cheap, but in all reality, if you keep powdered drinks cold in a pitcher, you'd be surprised at how well it serves as a substitute for soda. Unless somebody is that anal retentive about the carbonation, getting some Kool-Aid, getting some Country Time, getting some Tang, and keeping it cold in a pitcher works very well. Not to mention, if you have a water dispenser device, like I do, then you can already have cold water, and then you can mix the powdered drink into there, and it's cold and good to go. A water dispenser is also an excellent device if you just need basic hydration. If somebody just wants water and you're in a state like I'm in, like Arizona, where the tap water is atrocious, then a water dispenser becomes a lifesaver in that instance, because you don't want to drink Arizona tap water. But if you do get soda, then look for deals at your local grocery store. Look for basically a little trick I get, and this works for any grocery item, but this is a way to save some money on soda, is where you'll see the price. Many grocery stores will have the little, on the price tag, the part next to it's either in red or in yellow, that will say amount of cents per ounce. That actually will show you how cheap it is you're paying for the overall product. Because even though you may be looking at a smaller price on the big part of the label, that little part will let you know that you're actually paying less per ounce, or in case of other groceries, per pound or whatever. But look for those deals, and that will often let you know that you're getting the most bang for your buck with your soda. If you really want to go extravagant, I can recommend soda brands for days like Henry Weinhard's, IBC, Virgil's, because there are some really nice sodas out there. But you may not want to go that extravagant just for a game night. But these are some options you can do to liven up your game session in the way of food and drink. If you like what I've presented thus far, please subscribe. There will be more to come, and until next time, happy adventures, people.